Garcia's missed weight. I mean, what do you do with that? What do you do with that? What do you feel like you're sitting back and observing? We have seen this before. It's not the first time. If we're old enough to remember, Britney Spears was a very long, drawn out, what we decided falling apart. Mental falling apart. And it was speculated very heavily that that was a stunt. That was a marketing stunt. And that's as far as I can go with the similarity to Britney Spears, but I will just share with you that I do recall this, and a lot of people have thought perhaps Ryan Garcia was just pulling a stunt. So you would always want to ask why? Why would they pull a stunt? What would the motive be? And you'll always get the same answer: money. Like, anytime there's something in combat sports, anytime there's something in combat sports that the smartest guy in the room didn't predict or can't quite put his finger on, he will tell you, for the money. And a lot of times, he'll be right. I mean, not for nothing, that's a very lazy answer, and that's a very lazy approach. But sure, these guys are at work. Sure, no different than you are. And you showed up to work for the money. There's a truth to that. Garcia's, however, felt different. I haven't seen something out of Garcia where I would think, what a wonderful performer. I wouldn't think that he was calculated. Within his social media, which is shockingly low. I mean, Garcia was scheduled to get, this off the top of my head, but I believe it was $15 million for this fight. A guaranteed $15 million to box Haney. Just to share with you. So now he's a $15 million guy, right? He's a $15 million guy. You won't find in any other walk of life a $15 million guy whose social media is as small as Ryan Garcia's. So I offer that because today he missed weight. And there's certain codes that you do not break within the sport. And there's not very many. It is a dirty, rotten business. But making weight is one of those. And Garcia and Haney did not have a huge trust for one another. They're out there making statements and they're making claims. And Haney's sitting back the whole time and saying, you can't do that. I don't believe that you can actually do that, to some of the claims Garcia was making. And instead of doing like a gentleman's agreement, and that is almost a fixture in, say, a Paul fight. Paul almost always at a press conference will make a gentleman's agreement. And it's usually very good for marketing. Think of the Tyron Woodley, they betted a tattoo. And then there was something with Fury. Something had to do with Fury, which I'll double your purse, or you can have my purse. And there was something that was a meaningful amount of money. And old man Fury came after it. Said, hey, we had a deal. We want that money. Haney Garcia didn't have that. They did not have a verbal. They did not have a gentleman's agreement. They had it written down within their contract that if anybody misses weight, here's how we're going to handle it. And the way we're going to handle it is $500,000 per pound. Oh, and by the way, we round up. Fair enough. I mean, if you miss by 1/10 of a pound, you're now into the next pound category. Fair enough. So the reason that this is relevant is a commission already has a remedy. They have a built-in mechanism where they are going to take 10% of your purse if you miss weight. In fact, there are some commissions where it's 20%. And when it's 20%, the commission will keep half for themselves. And they will give the other half to your opponent. Most commissions take 10%, they give it right to your opponent. They don't keep anything. But I'm just sharing for you, right? Like, it's not an absolute. But that's the built-in mechanism. And Haney said, you know what? And Garcia said, you know what? It's not enough. I don't think that's a big enough incentive. I want $500,000 per pound. And what Haney really wanted when he said that is he just wanted Garcia to make weight. That was not meant to be a business approach. And you probably look at that and you go, well, $500,000 is real big. I do too. But I would have also assumed that Garcia was getting about $3 million for the fight, and then there would be some pay-per-view on the back end that the promoters will do some fuzzy accounting, and some kind of check will go out, and the audit would be done, and that's the boxing business. I must tell you, I had no idea that Garcia could command a guaranteed quote of $15 million. And when you find that out, you start to see why the other side wants to make sure you have a real incentive to make weight. So that's where the $500,000 comes from. Now, I'm only as good as the information that I have been given, but this morning, Ryan Garcia missed weight by 3.4 pounds. And on the article that I had, I did have a question to it. And my question was, okay, was that his first time on the scale? And does he have a window like we have in MMA? In MMA, wherever we are, local time is 9 to 11. Wherever in the world we are, local time is 9 to 11 to make weight. I was just wondering if boxing had that, because when I got this news about Garcia, it was 9:48 in the morning. When I got the news, it was 9:48 in the morning, which by that clock, have an extra hour and 12 minutes. And I don't know how much he would get off, but he would get something off. Or he says, no, I'm done. I'm not coming back. I'm not trying again. This is the weigh-in. Which means if the belt doesn't go up, the belt doesn't go up. Which means if the commission here takes 10%, they now have my 10%. Which means if I'm going to honor my agreement with Haney of $500,000 per pound, it is now $2 million. Take it, we're done. I don't know which one it was. I'm trying to figure that within the article. But I lean towards it was the latter. I lean towards he gave it one crack and said, I'm out. And I would understand that, but some of you at home wouldn't. A lot of people, if you said that to them, they go, wait a minute, there's an hour and 12 minutes left. Well, then he's going to do everything he can. My God, that's $2 million. Like, I hear you. But a guy that knows his body, right? A guy who has showed up to the weigh-ins 48 minutes after they opened. Like, the guy that's hurting and the guy that did it right is the first one to the scale. And the only way he's not first, if somebody else was in the same situation, they just beat him in line. That's it. Whenever somebody comes in meaningfully later, in this case, based on where I was 48 minutes, whatever they hit the scale at, they're going to have a very hard time getting anything else off. They came to the scale late because they were suffering. And when they have 3.4 and only an hour and 12 minutes, they realize I haven't lost it in 3 months. I'm not going to lose it in the next hour and 12 minutes. I take the time to tell you that because not very many people ever cut weight, ever in your whole life. Cutting weight and losing weight are not remotely the same topic. So it's not that Ryan Garcia had 3.4 pounds to lose. It's that Ryan Garcia had another 3.4 pounds to lose. So let's just clear that up real fast. And now they got to redo the bout agreement. What is the commission going to do? We don't want to know. By the way, let's not get Andy Foster to weigh in on a hypothetical of what the commission could have done. Let's not even put it in the commission's hands. Meaning, let's get this bout agreement that we've all agreed to sign. Let's get a new one. So before the commission looks at the numbers and says, this is offer, where's the 10%, or we're going to have it, before they're even asked to do that, let's change what we've all agreed on, sign it, turn that in now. And within part of that was Ryan Garcia to have his feet held to the fire on the $500,000 agreement to Haney. And Garcia, according to Haney, honored it. He said, yes, I understand the agreement, and yes, that counts as 4 pounds, and yes, that's $2 million, and yes, I am going to relinquish that to you. And that seems like a very reasonable thing to do, which would be the opposite of what we're hearing about Ryan being unreasonable. And it's not enough. It's not enough evidence to offset it. But who do you want to step in and handle this, and why? And who are you to step in and handle it? And if you believe that there is some kind of an issue there, if you're one of the people that has stepped forward and said, hey, there is a deficiency going on here, then what you can do is to not watch the fight. if you've said those words and you believe it, if you do watch the fight, that means you're looking forward to and paying and going to watch what you have deemed to be an able person versus what you have deemed to be a disabled person. It's an interesting situation. The fight is going to go on. And based on the information that we have now and based on the way we understand the sport, it should go on.